What's up, everybody? Today I'm going to be making my UFC Fight Night Tuivasa versus Tybura predictions, and let's get right into it. So, first fight on the card, Chad Enheliger. I don't know how to say his name. I don't know how to say this other guy's name either. I think it's Charalampos Gregorio. I'm going to go with Chad Enheliger by decision because this Gregorio guy, his competition hasn't been too good. He did get a KO on the Contender Series, but I mean, look, he just beat a 2-5 guy 3 fights ago. I mean, he's not really fighting the best opponents. He did lose to Christian Rodriguez, which isn't a bad loss. Rodriguez has been doing quite well in the UFC, but I see the underdog pick, and I think Anheliger can beat him, so I'm gonna go with that. I think he'll win a decision. I don't think Gregorio will KO him early, and I think that's his way to win. So we'll move on to the next matchup. Corey McKenna versus Jacqueline Amorim. I, you know, I got schoolwork to do, you guys. I can't spend all day every day rewatching fights. I have a limited amount of time, so I haven't watched tape on these two ladies, but it seems like McKenna has like they both have very similar records, but some of her opponents are better. McKenna, Amorim, she's got some alright wins. She lost to Sam Hughes though, not good, but she lost to Elise Reed. I'm just going with the underdog on this one too, cause it's a fight that I don't know much about, and I think that she could win. So I'm gonna go with that. Um, it seems to work out sometimes when I just go for underdogs when I don't know anything else about the fighters. So let's move on to the next one. Koulibaly versus Danny Silva. Now I'm not confident on this one, but I am going with Koulibaly. Um, I think he'll win a decision. I think he's just the better fighter overall. But Danny Silva, he's dangerous. He had a good performance on the Contender Series, and Josh Koulibaly did just lose to Lerone Murphy. He got hurt with a body shot pretty bad in that fight. I think Danny Silva could land some good body shots on him, so this is a pretty close fight. But I think Koulibaly can edge out a decision. He's got to be careful though because Danny Silva is a pretty dangerous guy. But we will move on to the next one. Man, this card is not the best. Thiago Moises versus Mitch Ramirez. I'm pretty confident on this one. I think Thiago Moises is going to submit him. You look at his career, he hasn't really lost to anybody bad. I mean, he lost to Makachev, and he lost to Alvarez, and he lost to Saint Denis. Now, Makachev is the champion. Saint Denis just dominated Poirier for the first round, and then he did lose, but I mean, he's beating the shit out of Poirier. Not a bad loss. Saint Denis is a solid ranked guy, but Mitch Ramirez, I don't think he's gonna win this one. I think Moises will be able to find the submission, maybe a rear naked choke. Yeah, I think Moises submission round two. That's what I'm going with in this one. Moises is a pretty good fighter. I think he can win this one. So on to the next one. Ode Osborne versus Jafel Filho. Now Filho, he got a submission in his last fight. He almost submitted Muhammad Mokaev, but then got submitted, and he beat some guys on the Contender Series. Ode Osborne is just not a great fighter. This guy, Zaruk Adashev, he might be the worst flyweight that's ever been signed. Not good at all. Osborne got smoked by Tyson Nam. He beat Charles Johnson in a split decision, and he lost to Asu Almabayev, which is not a terrible loss because Almabayev did just beat Vergara, but Vergara is not really good either. So I think Phil Ho will be able to find a submission. He's had a very close submission attempt on Makaev, and he submitted his last opponent. I think he can submit Ode Osborne as well. Um, maybe a rear naked choke. I think a rear naked choke. Because that's what happened in Osborne's last fight with Almabayev. I don't really know what submission Phil will get, but if I had to guess one, I'd go rear naked choke. I think that's the most likely. But next fight, Josiane Nunes versus Chelsea Chandler. I'm just going with Josiane Nunes. I mean, look at her. Look at her. I don't think she's gonna lose. But Chelsea Chandler, she can win. I'm not sure if this fight will be at featherweight or if it'll be at bantamweight. But Chelsea Chandler, she lost to Norma Dumont, but she hasn't looked impressive in either of her fights. Neither has she really, but I got to go with Nunes on this one. Look at her, just come on. That's kind of, I feel like a obvious pick, but I haven't really watched their fights in depth either, so who knows? I might get proven wrong. But here we go to a pretty good fight. Mike Davis versus Natan Levy. Now I have in here decision, but I'm changing my pick to a KO in round 2 for Mike Davis. Maybe, I'm going to go with round 1. Because Mike Davis, he looked very impressive in his fight with Borshev. He lost to Gilbert Burns almost 5 years ago. That doesn't matter. He's 3-0, not 3-0 in the UFC, but he's 3-0 in his last 3. He took down Borshev and really dominated him in that fight. That was an impressive performance, and he held his own in the striking. Borshev is a very dangerous guy. I think that's impressive. Natan Levy has not impressed me. I think Mike Davis is the better striker. He's got very good Muay Thai, and I think he's the better grappler. He's a very good wrestler. He has good control when he's on the ground. Natan Levy, I think Davis is just going to be too much for him. So I'm going with Davis KO in round 1. Yep, that's what I'm going with for this fight. This should be pretty good. I'm excited to see Mike Davis fight again. Been a while. Obviously, a year and 5 months. Where you at, man? Come on, fight more. You're entertaining. Great fighter. But I also like that he's been off for a while, because that means he's probably coming into this fight healthy, taking that much time off. So that's good for him as well. But yeah, they've both taken a similar amount of time off. I think Davis is the better fighter in every aspect of mixed martial arts, so I'm going with Mike Davis by a KO in round 1. GM3 versus Brian Barberena. I am going to go with GM3 by submission in maybe, I think, round 3. Barberena, I don't know what he's doing at middleweight. He looks like a bag of milk. He's got some power. Other than that, he's not really an impressive fighter anywhere. He got ragdolled by Makhmud Muradov, I believe. Yeah, Makhmud Muradov. GM3, he lost to Petrosky. That was a very close fight. I did think he won. He looked alright in that fight. He did get dropped, and then obviously he lost to Joe Pyfer. Joe Pyfer is not a bad loss either. I think GM3 is going to be able to out-grapple Barberena for like all 3 rounds until eventually in the 3rd round he'll find a submission. I think GM3 has better stand-up too, but Barberena, he's pretty powerful. He was a welterweight. I think he should move back to that weight class though. He's way too small for middleweight. I think GM3 is gonna outstrength him. GM3, I think I saw a picture of him on Instagram earlier this week. He's looking pretty big. He's looking strong. I think he's just gonna ragdoll Barberena until he finds the submission in round 3. But I'm pretty excited to see GM3 fight. Greatest of all time. But we will move on to the next one. Penny Kianzad versus Macy Chasson. I'm going with Macy Chasson. I think she is just, a slightly better fighter. I could see this fight being pretty clinch heavy, and I think she's better there. I think she's a better striker. I think she's a better grappler. Penny Kianzad and Chasson, neither of them are extremely impressive, but I think Chasson is going to be able to win this fight. I think she's better everywhere. I don't want to spend too much time talking about this fight because I am trying to make my videos a little shorter, maybe get more watch time. I know my last prediction video for 299 was like 25 minutes. That might be a little long for some people, so I do want to tone this one down a little bit. So on to the next one. This is the best fight on the card by far. I'm extremely excited to see this one. I'm going with Bulgarian by submission in round one. C-Rod, he's all right. He beat Cameron Simon and he beat fucking Raul Rosas Jr. He looked past round one. He looked pretty good in the Rosas Jr. fight, but Raul Rosas almost submitted him in round one. I think Bulgarian is a lot stronger. I think he's a better technical wrestler. His wrestling resume is insane. He's got great top control. I think he is very dangerous when he gets you down. I think he's more dangerous than Cameron Simon. That was a very close fight. They both looked a little sloppy in that fight, but Christian Rodriguez, he hasn't really impressed me. He's looked alright, but he hasn't been extremely impressive. He lost to Jonathan Pierce. That was pretty close. But I'm gonna go with Bulgarian by submission in round one. I think Bulgarian is gonna take him down. I think he's gonna be landing a lot of short elbows, and then eventually I think he's gonna get mount, and I think he's gonna be raining down ground and pound, and C-Rod is gonna be forced to give up his back, and I think Bulgarian will flatten him out and choke him out in round one. In maybe the last minute of round one. C-Rod, he can win this fight though. If it goes past round one, we haven't really seen Bulgarian go past round one. Maybe he has in the regional scene, but I don't really know where to watch those fights, so I can only go off of his fight in the UFC. But I know he has some great wrestling accolades, and I think he's going to be able to take Rodriguez down, and he's got some nasty ground and pound, man. It's really impressive. So I'm going with him by submission in round one. But if the fight goes into round two and the live odds are looking a little crazy, put some money on Rodriguez because he has shown he's very good at surviving the first round. So that you can keep that in mind. Christian Rodriguez is not a bad pick, but I am going with the Bulgarian. He's really impressed me so far. I think he's a very good fighter. But we will move on. Kennedy Nzechukwu versus Ovince St. Preux. This one is a no-brainer. Ovince St. Preux, he is just not good anymore. He's not a good fighter anymore. Kennedy Nzechukwu is very dangerous. I think he's going to walk him down, and I think he's going to knock him out in round one. On to the next one. Brian Battle versus Angelusa. I think Brian Battle will win a decision, but Angelusa is pretty dangerous. This is a close fight. I think Brian Battle is going to be able to keep him at range with his teep kicks. Brian Battle has really long arms. He's good on the ground. He's got good scrambles, good defense. He's good in the clinch. I think in the clinch he'll be landing good knees on the shorter guy. I think Brian Battle is just better overall. Angelusa is dangerous on the feet. He's got a lot of power. He's got some good takedowns, but I think Brian Battle is going to be able to outpoint him. And I could see Brian Battle getting dropped in round one like he did against Fletcher, though. So, there is always a possibility that Lusa just explodes and catches him, but I think Battle will win a decision. So, on to the main event. Tuivasa versus Tybura. I think Tuivasa is going to knock him out in round one. He's going to be landing a lot of calf kicks. He was landing good kicks on Volkov, and Volkov is good at checking kicks. So that was the one impressive thing he really did in that fight. Ty has really good calf kicks, man. And I think that whenever Tybura closes the distance, he's not great in the pocket. He was getting hit a lot by Blagoy Ivanov. And I think the big openings are uppercuts and hooks. And Ty, he's a big old slugger. He's going to be swinging big meaty hooks, and I think at the tail end of round one, he's just gonna have Tybura's leg compromised. I think his leg is gonna get beat up, and I think Ty is gonna explode on him with a big hook and knock him out. I think it's Ty's comeback season, but Tybura can win. I mean, he's got good takedown defense. He doesn't have great takedown offense though, so I don't think Ty needs to worry about takedowns. Tybura, he's pretty slow. Ty, he's got insane power, and like I said, good low kicks. I think the low kicks are going to be the deciding factor of this fight. Tybura's pretty light on his feet, but I think Ty's still going to be able to land them because Volkov is lighter on his feet. He's got better movement, better kicks, and he's a more dangerous guy. Tybura, though, he does have a good body kick. That could be an issue. I don't think it will be, though. I'm going with Ty KO round 1, and he's going to do a fucking shoey in the apex. I'm excited, man. This is a pretty bad card, but I'm excited to see Ty. I hope he wins. If he loses, I'm going to be sad because I really don't care about Tybura. And I like Ty. But I'll talk to you guys later, man. I might be live streaming for this fight. I'm not sure. We will see. I'll talk to y'all later.